Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do my buffalo plaid with kind of a twist. It's really just the traditional buffalo plaid with a couple extra steps. So I'm going to show you guys what I do because I hate to measure anything and try to figure out math. So I just take and tape my tape around the top in these little sections. As evenly spaced as I can. This one actually almost worked out perfectly, but this is just going to be my spacing guide. So if I got to the point where this tape overlapped, I would just scoot them a tiny bit closer together or farther apart to make it work. I left a teeny tiny gap on all of these. Scoot them a tiny bit closer to make it a little bit more even. Now these are just going to be my guides. I can get my cup not to roll. So I take this one off and I'm going to save it. It's going to be my marker for next time. I'm just going to tape an eyeball as straight as I can. Every other one. Hold on. Okay. Same thing. I'm just going to eyeball it up to the next one and make sure it's as evenly spaced as possible. Now, if you have a curved cup or a tapered cup, it will be a smaller distance at the tapered side. Push that down. Sometimes hold my cup the way it should be upright just to make sure that the line looks straight enough. Okay, now you're going to do the same thing, but go this way. This one you don't have to measure as much. I just kind of lay tape for my guide. Now you can leave this little gap if that doesn't bother you. It's not equally as spaced, but I kind of have OCD, so it will bother me. And so I'm going to move all of these up a little bit. All right, I'm a little bit happier with that. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna go every other one, but around. I won't show you all in the video, but so I'm gonna take the tape off one, and I'm gonna go all the way around the top. I always give my tape a slight tug because it helps keep it straight. You can take these off, I forgot to tell you guys. And since I'm a little short there, I'll just use one of these little pieces. Make sure they line up with each other. Same thing every other. So this one I'm just taking off. It's just my guide. When you're taping, you want to make sure your tape's not coming up or down. I try to look at this square and make sure it looks square. If it's not, I just adjust my tape as I pull. And then make sure it matches with the beginning of your tape. And then keep going. Let me take this one off. Keep going till you get to the bottom. After you get it all taped off and your tape pushed down, you're just going to pick the colors that you want. I'm going to go with these four. These are all my colors, Diamonds and Dusts, from my Etsy. I'll tell you the names as I use them. My first color I'm going to use is Dark Heart. And I'm just going to Mod Podge all of these squares and glitter these up. When I Mod Podge, I don't really scrimp, but I don't want clumps. I need something for my glitter to stick to. I usually only do one little section at a time because I don't want this Mod Podge to dry. Just dump it on. Make sure you get every section is covered that you can see. Like right here, I missed a little bit, so I'm gonna let this dry and come back over right there. So just continue to go around all of these squares. Left tape on there. Okay, so you're going to want to just keep going all the way till all these squares are filled in with your first color. After you get it all glittered, I just put my finger in it, you're going to go and take off the last section of tape you just did. You're going to be left with these. All of these ones are going to be a mix of your first and your second color of choice. So this is going to be your mixed color on your second one. My second color I'm going to do, which is the main color of my buffalo plaid, is Copper Rose. And I'm going to take and I'm going to do a mixture. It's approximately 50-50 of each color. You want to get as close as you can in between the two colors that you picked for your main buffalo plaid. So sometimes I just kind of look at it and see if it still looks too dark or too light compared. I think I need a little bit more of this Copper Rose. And I'm going to go with that. Now, I wouldn't say this gets more difficult, but you're going to want to be really careful with your straight lines here. I usually just kind of slop it on, and then when I go against my lines, I'm going to take my brush and I'm actually going to push it down. And this will keep and go slow right up next to that glitter on both sides. And then you can spread it out. Now I'm going to show, you're going to do all of these squares, but I'm going to show you a little bit of a cheater because one time I mixed this up and it was way too dark. You could barely tell the difference between the two. So right now I'm just going to do 1 square. So after I did that on my cup, this still might be too dark for my liking, but I went back and lightened them up on every single square, and it was a huge pain. So right now, if I don't like that, I can just Mod Podge over it. I'm going to pull this up just a tad and see. And yeah, in my personal opinion, it needs to be lighter. So I'm going to add some more of my light color. Now I only have 1 square to redo instead of all of them like I did before. Usually I'll have leftover this mixture, and I really hate to waste glitter, so that's the color that I'll Mod Podge the whole bottom, and I'll do that color. So now I'm just going to come to the next one, and I'm going to kind of cheat on here too and pull this one back and see if I like it better. Push your brush down where it's flatter. This is just a cheap brush. I always use a cheap brush because I can never get the Mod Podge to come out all the way. So, and you can even use a bigger brush. This is just one of my kids' ones that I found. I don't know if you guys can see the difference, but I am liking that one a little bit better. That mixture. I might even add a little bit more of the copper rose. Those darks like to kind of take over sometimes. All right, I'm going to go with that. Now just don't forget to go back and do your 2 that you don't like. I'll just skip those 2 rows, let them dry for a minute so I can go over them. You're going to go through all of these. Keep your lines as straight as you can. That's what makes it look really good and really crisp. I'll just do this 1 row and then I'll come back so you guys don't have to sit here and watch me glitter. All right, go through and do all of your other squares with your mixture that are white, which a lot of people just use this stainless cup. I'm a huge advocate to prep your cup, so I always prep and I always prime. I like a white base. It just makes your colors pop. So that's all that was just primer. So go back and do all your primed sections in your mixture. Now that you have all of your in between your purple, your first color, dark heart on mine. Done with your mixture, you're going to pull the tape on the other sections. Okay, this is where it can get a tiny bit confusing. You're still going to use your mixed color that you just did, but it's got to go on the side of your first color, which mine is the purpley wine color dark heart. You want to go on every side of the dark heart, so you'll still have one in between. Make sure it's on the sides. This one, I wouldn't say is trickier, but you do kind of have to free float your square. Get right up next to, sorry you couldn't see, your glitter, or you'll have lots of touch up. I got a little messy there with the Mod Podge. I'm not even going to worry about it right now. I'll let it dry and scrape it off before I fill in the next color. Try to make that line as clean as you can. It just saves you time in the future. Once again, this is your mixture. It's going on this each side of your first color. Now go through all this and do in between, like I said. It's super important, or you guys, it won't look right for a buffalo plaid. It goes on, the mixture goes on the side of your first colors. I'm going to go around and do mine and then come back. Now that you have all of your sections glittered, all you have are these squares left. And you can kind of see that I wasn't super perfect at this point. You can take something and actually just scrape it off straight if you want. but I just take an overlap and make that line straight again. I just line up my brush, pull, line up my brush and a line, pull. Same with here. I'll just keep moving my cup around until I get it straight. You're doing this with your other color that you chose on your main colors. No more mixture. You're going to get all these filled in with your second color. I'm using Copper Rose. And I try to remember when I'm doing this color not to bang my cup because I want to change. I want to save the extra glitter that falls off. And if you bang your cup, you're going to get some of the excess to come off. So I just try to turn off what I can and try to remember not to bang it right now. So you're going to go back in and fill in all these whites. And then I'm going to seal this cup really good. Probably at least 3 times. I like the Rust-Oleum triple thick. I'm going to do it 3 times where this glitter is not going to move at all, and get ready for the next step. Now we're on to the next step. This has been all glittered and coated really, really well with Rust-Oleum triple thick. So I actually did a layer of epoxy first last time and then the thin tape, but I did struggle a little bit to get it smooth. Took me one more step of sanding, which I hate. So I'm going to try it this way. That's why I already have one of these on here. So you're going to take your tape. Oh, let me tell you what that is. This is just double-sided sticky tape I got on Amazon. It's an 1/8 of an inch thick. And you're going to find which ones you want, and you're going to put it all in the purples going this way. Now when I do this, I'm not going to attach this all the way down right here so I can pull it up. So I just put it right in the middle. Push it down. Like I said, I always give it a slight pull anytime I do it. It helps keep your lines a little bit straighter. Okay, you're gonna get to where they touch, and you're gonna just barely teeny tiny overlap just to make sure you have enough around. This got a little crazy as I was wrapping. Keep your lines as straight as you can. And keep going in the purple up on these 3. And then I'll show you the next step. Once you've got it all lined up on whatever color you want to do first, I chose the purpley color. You want to take this double-sided rose off first. Sticking to my cup. This gets a little hard because you want to try not to touch your cup as much as possible. At least where your tape is. Now you're going to go the opposite way on your purples from top to bottom. I'm trying to do this one-handed, so be patient here. I think it's really helpful when you epoxy if you just snip this right below the lip. You can just see how I did that barely. And then do that again. In the middle of your dark. All the way around again, just through, so you're making squares on the dark and the half mixed on this side. Now your cup looks like this, has the stripes all the way around. You're now going to pull off that tape. It's a lot easier to do this. When I put the tape on, I actually put it between my knees, and I have one knee here and one knee here, and then I don't have to touch it because my finger got stuck there and I kind of pulled tape up, but it's not much to freak out about because we can fix that. So at this point, you're going to pick your next color. And at the beginning of this video, I said I was going to do yellow, which I changed my mind. I'm actually going to do ballet slipper. I just felt like this cup was kind of muted and the yellow might take over the cup. So we are now going to sprinkle the glitter on this one. I usually like to go up and down on double-sided tape so I can rub it in. You want this to stick to that tape as much as it can, and sometimes sprinkling it isn't enough. when I get the tape to the bottom of my cup, where the bottom, I don't know, rim, I don't know what that would be called, but the bottom, I only go around the little curve and stop. There's no reason to keep going. I missed a little spot here. Just rubbing that glitter in, that tape, so it gets every little bit that's sticky covered. I usually have a fan brush that I just brush this off gently, but I'm going to go around and brush off every square. And then I'm going to do the double-sided tape down the opposite color. This way, and then down this way, same thing. And then I'm gonna do my next color that I chose. Okay, as you guys can see, I did the other tape parts. It's just the opposite squares of what you did before. This way, same thing. You're just going to take your next glitter of choice and rub it in here. Now when you get all the glitter on here, you want to give it a really good dusting off. As good as you can, even if you have to take, last time I took a brush and went through every square and separated it the most I can, so I didn't wipe off the glitter on the tape. And what I learned last time is seal the glitter on this double-sided tape. I did have some that shifted a little bit on my decal and it really drove me crazy. So after this tape part is all done, seal it. I would also recommend, since you have, this tape lays pretty flat, but you do have a couple layers on here, I would think more of a little bit of a flood coat. So maybe add like 5 milliliters of epoxy to what you normally do. I'm just warning you guys, this is not a beginner's cup. This cup will make you cuss a lot. This is only the second one I've done, but I like to be different. And so I looked at a bunch of plaid online and thought, I'm just gonna go the extra mile. I'm gonna go the extra step for my plaid. But this cup with the tape and the glitter and sealing it and the Mod Podge, you're gonna have touch-ups. You're gonna have mistakes. I have a place on here where my tape folded, and I'm just going to have to take some Mod Podge and even out that line. Some tape stuck to the bottom as I was trying to get it around, and it pulled up some of my glitter right here. It's not super perfect, but I'm just gonna Mod Podge that again, and I'm gonna coat it, and nobody will ever know. So just be patient, because I think the extra work is just so freaking pretty. And I'm super glad I changed my yellow to pink. I'm just gonna dust off this section so you guys can see it. And I kind of chose these muted colors, which now that I've done the whole entire video, I probably should have done something a little bit more contrasting. But I'm not always a bright and colorful person, so I was thinking fall, but different fall. This one I went full fall, full blast fall, which I love. But this one I decided to do more of a muted fall. And I probably should have done something a little bit more contrasting to see the colors a little better, but I just think it's so pretty. So good luck, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to answer them. And I'd love to see your cups when you get them done. Good luck.